crypto. We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Yeah. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. That's it. That's the intro. That's all you get. Still, this is very good. Have a new intro. Gonna be coming out probably next week. We'll see what happens. When are we gonna do that announcement, TJ?
Which announcement?
But the two main ones there.
I think one we talked about after this trip.
After the trip.
I can't remember what the.
So after the trip, we got big announcements. We'll just do the announcements after the trip. How about
or today we could do the announcement of the announcement.
Today we have an announcement of announcement. We are
coming
going to be making a really big change on the channel. We're really excited about it, and we're just going to say it like this: we are going to be. We've found a way to where we can take all of the money that we make on YouTube, and we can give it back to the people, and that's what we're going to do. So, really excited about that big announcement. You're going to basically get. It's not going to be everybody. There's going to be something you have to do. But once you do this, you're going to be able to get paid through our channel. It's going to be amazing. We can't wait to share it with you. Nobody has ever done this in the history of YouTube or crypto. So we are super excited about this. And we've been working on it for a while now. And we are ready to release that here pretty soon. So when we get back from the trip, we will not be doing regular live stream tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday because we are out of town. And long story short, we're just not doing it. Monday, DZ will be back in the studio with Jay Chains, and then Tuesday I'll be back in. But what I want to say is, I'm still. Can we put up a poll?
Sure.
Can we do it after blockchain? No, let's put it up now. I want to put up a poll. I want to know what they want while I'm gone. Do you want a 15-minute live stream? There will be no screen share. It'll just be me talking. Or do you want a pre-recorded video? Or do you want me to just, talk on my phone and post it? And I can also, basically, it's one of the phone record videos that I do on the weekends, if you guys know those, where I just record on my phone, drive around the truck. I want to know what you guys want. Do you guys want a live stream, or do you want pre-recorded, basically, is the long and short of it. I want to know what they'd rather have. But it won't have all the bells and the whistles if it's a live stream. It'll just be me hitting live on my phone, so...
Mobile live stream. Yeah,
we'll see what you guys want there. I want to do what you guys want. So we'll do whatever wins.
Those are the only two options?
Yeah, I mean, there's two pre-recorded video options, really. But, one would be one of the traditional ones we do. But we really don't have time to do those. So we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, we have Blockchain back on the show today. Very excited. He called the top. Everybody says in the chat. We're going to get to find out what he believes about Bitcoin and where we're going in the near future. When's it going to hit all-time highs? He's an XRP guy, so XRP Army in the house. So we're going to be, that doesn't really work when I do it like that. I got to do it like that. Yeah. XRP Army in the house, so we're going to get his thoughts on where XRP is right now. A massive move for XRP, which, by the way, they had a big tweet here. Our own James Wallace, VP of Central Bank Engagements and CBDCs, joins other industry stakeholders in this webinar. Learn about the benefits that new forms of digital money can bring to wholesale cross-border settlements and the innovative use cases that can be delivered. I've told you guys for a long time, there will be wholesale CBDCs, there will be retail CBDCs. So this is of the, the wholesale type. Now, Ripple has been moving. Let's check out the markets really quick here. Right now, we are at $2.071 trillion. We actually crossed over $45,000 for Bitcoin this morning, and it got rejected. So Bitcoin basically hit 45,000, popped back down, as you guys can see here, to 43,698. We'll talk the charts with blockchain back here in just a second. The volume, extraordinarily high for right now. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it's a nice little tick up.
120 billion. We haven't seen that in a long time.
I wonder, just out of curiosity, because it tends to run a little higher on CoinGecko.
Yeah.
So it's
it does. I'll put up CoinMarketCap.
104 on CoinMarketCap.
Oh, it is 104,
which is a little about what we're used to.
Well, no, it's been in 70 and 80.
Yeah, true.
I think it was 60 last week, one day. So still pretty considerable rides. Bitcoin dominance commit 40%. 53.5 Paraguays will send you an e-transaction. Ethereum still hovering over $3,000. over the last 24 hours, down a little bit. Let's see if anything. XRP still up, right, at about 84 cents. Let's see what else. Avalanche with a positive day. Look at the biggest gainer of the day. It might be XRP. Nope, not even close. IoTex, 19.7%. Radix, 15.4%. Cadena having a renaissance, 7.7%. Man, that one really started getting popular at the wrong time. So,
yeah, then it got crushed in that drop. So this is
Crushed.
recovering. It's recovering well, but it got hammered.
Yeah. XRP, 5.9%. Oh, there it is, number 4. So not too bad. Tezos with a good day. Nothing else over 5% gains. Still, I mean, for the week, we still have some massive movers this week. Shiba, 42%. Gala. I like to say Gala, but whatever. Gala, 64.9%. British people pronounce it Gala. Americans pronounce it Gala. So I don't know where they determined that they were going to call their company Gala Games, but I'm American. So I like Gala. So, all right. Well, that is Crypto Watch. Guys, don't forget, by the way, before we move on to Blockchain Backer here, make sure you guys check out our Twitter, 806,000 followers there. Our meetup on Thursday, this Thursday in Santa Monica. Make sure to sign up on the Eventbrite, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. PST. We're going to do a talk, pictures. We're going to do Q&A, all that stuff. So very excited about that. Make sure you're going to come. We've already had in like a week, I think now like 700 people sign up. So very, very good stuff. So, all right, let's go and bring on a Blockchain Backer. And make sure, if you guys like guests, if you like when I listen to the audience and you guys give me people you want to see on the channel, I get them on the channel. Make sure to hit that like button. If you're a fan of BC Backer, Blockchain Backer, you can check out all of his socials. I'll have TJ drop his YouTube channel in the chat and pin it. So, all right, let's bring him up.
Hey,
what is going on?
What's going on, man?
Man, I'm excited.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, brother.
Absolutely, man. I'm pumped to have you. I've been wanting to get you on for a while, but I was just slow to do the outreach. You're a recovery guy too. I saw that on your Twitter, so we got that in common. We like XRP. You called the top. I didn't, so we don't have that in common. But you want to tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Yeah, sure, man. First of all, just like you said, yeah, man, about 9 years. How long have you been in recovery, bro?
I will be 15 in July.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, XRP guy. We'll touch on that, man. It's very nice to have you on that team, man. And
Yeah.
I'll express that again later. As for crypto and what my YouTube channel is all about, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm a guy on the internet, but I spend a ridiculous amount of time in these charts, studying them, analyzing them, and trying to explain them in easy to understand ways. So I spend a lot of time just like a hobby. Somebody, Ben, you could probably get it. You're just entrenched in it. It's all you can think about. It's all you ever do. Made YouTube videos about it. If you enjoy doing what you're doing, people will want to watch. And so I spent a lot of time doing this and sharing the charts and explaining things that are going on and pointing them out. That's really what my channel is.
Awesome. Well, that's great. I think what you said there is very true, because I know that's why I started making YouTube videos, because I was just obsessed with crypto, and every day I was looking at all this stuff, and it actually it gave me an outlet to talk, because I didn't have I had basically like one friend that was into crypto, and that was it. So it gave me an outlet to talk about crypto, built a community, and all that stuff. So definitely comes from a point of passion, and that's people too often. I did a YouTube channel before, and it was a huge failure. Total flop. It's because I was looking at it like a business. Like, I want to get into the business of YouTube, and I wasn't passionate about what I was doing it about. It was like reviews of something, and it was awful. And I said I'd never do YouTube again. And then I discovered crypto. It's very important when you find what you're passionate about, that you pursue that. I think that's a good principle about life. So let's go ahead.
I agree with that, man. Because I was gonna come on here. I'm like, hey, man, we're gonna talk about XRP. I'm gonna make sure Ben knows about NFTs, federated sidechains. I start watching your videos. I'm like, this guy knows more about XRP than I do.
That's awesome.
You know it, man. Yeah. You just know it.
Yeah, well, I've been, watching it for a long time, back to the pumps in 2017. So, but let's go ahead and check out the top. So this is the big controversial thing that, well, not really controversial now, but the big thing you're kind of, notable for is you called the top, and I assume you sold the top, I would assume. How did you come to that decision? If you got some charts you want to show us, that would be good. No one was talking about that was the top back then, except for maybe the most bearish people out there that are always giving bearish predictions. Just very curious, like, what was it about that moment? We didn't get a blow off top. We've seen in other cycles. Just really curious to get your thoughts on all that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to do some screen sharing for you. This was something that I had expected for a very long time, and let me just start sharing my screen about that.
Sure.
Here we go. All right, so we've got the long-term Bitcoin price chart on here, and before we do any of this, let me say this too: is that I'm about to dive into doing exactly what I do on my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to explain everything in an easy to understand way, so you and your audience can all completely get it. And none of this comes from a perspective of me being some big bear or some big FUD starter about Bitcoin. I completely respect Bitcoin. We all know it, that this party happens because of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is in a bull market, the altcoin market goes into a bull market, and that's historically how it goes. So none of this is about anti-Bitcoin, FUD Bitcoin. It's just charting, and I'm going to try to show that on here to show that, hey, I'm not some big bear. I had posted about this a long time ago, or back in October is when I really kind of made the warning. I said, I believe the top of Bitcoin is most likely to occur around 72 to 75,000, leading to a multi-year bear market. And in this thread, I'll present my case into why I believe this. And I really broke it all down and explained why. So right now, I'll just kind of walk your audience through why I was worried about that. So this is the long-term Bitcoin price chart that we have in front of us. This is called the BLX, which is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. It dates back to August of 2010. And so what we have is what appear to be different cycles going on here in Bitcoin. And one thing that I think was a big mistake that people have thought is that this was a cycle on its own. And the top that we had back in 2017 and 2018 was a cycle of its own. Because if we go back through the history of Bitcoin and understand what these big run-ups have actually been in here, is that we can see this is the price of Bitcoin down in here is 4 or 5 cents. And we can see a couple of liquid wicks that happened on here, taking the price to 0. But if we ignore those wicks that go on down in there, we just start right there from that 5-cent price, we can see that the second mega cycle of Bitcoin was of exact same length as what the first cycle was as well. So that was on my radar that, hey, you know what? We've done cycles of this size before. And well, what would happen if we went and took a look and saw what was this super cycle, right? So if we say, well, let's take a look at this super cycle right in here. We know that it's the exact same length as the one that we have here. What if we apply it up here? And things started getting a little bit interesting. And we could see that where we stopped out in 2017 and 2018 was of the exact same spot that we stopped out back in the previous mega super cycle. So it got, warnings on me that, hey, you know what? It looks like this whole period that we've had that's happened here in 2018, 19, and 20 is also mirroring exactly what was happening in 2000, I believe that's 2013. Okay. So what we can do is we can actually even take a closer look at this a little bit closer and say, all right, here we go. Let's grab the whole fractal. Let's put it up close. And we can see exactly what this did in here. We can see that the top and the bottom of this both occurred at the exact same point. So then what we notice is as the top comes in and the bottom comes in, where these bounces come in, right? So it has, we can mark these things and just say, hey, here's number 1, here's number 1, here's number 2, here's number 2. After it comes off the lows, it goes to 3. Then what happens, comes off the lows and goes to 3. Well, did those happen to be at the exact same point? Yeah. Take a look at where it pulls back to the same spot once again, goes firing off, right? So the idea was that, hey, it looks like we're following these mega super cycles. So that was kind of my first, thought of, hey, this seems to be what's happening in here. And there's been a lot of mistake into thinking that this was a whole cycle and that, we're starting a new one and going into something much bigger or whatnot, but more that what was happening this time was simply just a continuation of the pausing period happening in here. So we can go back to, let me get to here. So this is something I had posted on November 2nd, and I posted this clip back here on March 30th of 2020. So if you remember March 30th, what was going on in March of 2020? C19 craziness and chaos, right? And in this video, you can see just the price of Bitcoin is down here at $6,000. And I'm pointing, look, I think we're going to head to like a 4.236 extension. Very crazy to say that during that time period. You can see Cardano was 2.9 cents at that time, XRP 17 cents. There's chaos building everywhere. But then I think we're going to head all the way up to a 4.236 extension for Bitcoin. And if we look at where we've gotten to, you'll see that Bitcoin came up just shy of a 4.236 extension right in here.
Yeah.
So we got right up there, right? So that was the thing, is that this wasn't something that was like called in October of, October 2021. This has been something that I've been talking about since 2020. And so we got there, price got all the way up there, but we didn't quite hit it, right? So, what did happen? If we didn't hit the 4.236 extension over here on the actual price chart, where did we hit it at? And we can look over here on the market cap chart of Bitcoin to see that the market cap of Bitcoin did absolutely smash into the 4.236 extension, as did the market cap of Ethereum. So both of them have hit these 4.236 extensions. And then the question comes, well, okay, if the extensions hit it on the market caps, but the price chart didn't quite hit it, is this a topping structure that's happening over here on Bitcoin, right? This is going to be back in late 2020. This is the big sell-off that we all know about back in May of last year. June and July rolls back up. Is this structure that's happening up in here potential for being a topping structure, even though we didn't quite get all the way out there? And so we've looked at different topping structures to say, could it be? This is a topping structure from back in 2017. This is, if you were here during this time, this was the spring run-up, kind of like the first alt season that took place in 2017. This is where I came into the market. Everybody, I told the story in a live stream the other day. Everybody thinks that their unique case of coming into the market and getting wrecked early is unique.
I know.
We all go through that.
Everyone, it's part of the process, It really is part of the process, and I think people, when you come in and get wrecked, like sometimes you'll feel like, oh God, I'm no good at this. This was my big hope. I thought I was going to make it, and I didn't make it. But it's just a matter of shifting your time perspective, and you look at those lessons early on where you got wrecked, and that's part of the learning that you needed to get you to the next level.
For sure. So yeah, it's what we all go through. So this is the time period where I came in. Again, we're trying to say, hey, is this a topping structure that's happening over here on Bitcoin? But this is a topping structure of what we saw back in 2017. You could see the initial run-up happens. Then it recovers and barely sets a new high, pulls back below the high, and one final excessive move before finally a longer bearish period sets in. But again, you can see the clear structure, right? A big fall, a recovery with a little bit of a new high, pulls back, and one final excess.
What was that peak at? What was that first peak that you were showing there? What was the dollar amount? That's 20,000. What was the spring?
This is 3,000.
Oh, that's 3,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the spring run up.
3,000.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So that's not the peak of the market. That's the entire spring run up, pretty much.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the peak of the market in 2017, 2018 pretty soon. But just to show you kind of a structure of how tops can come in, is that you can set these little highs and then one final excess. And that's what we had going on over here. And over on Twitter, that's what I was expecting to end up occurring in here, is that before we got into the new all-time high, that the expectation would be that, hey, we have one little break of the all-time high, pulls back, a final excess, and that's the end. And then, huge rotation for altcoin market, which we have yet to see any of that show up, which we'll talk about as well. But, that's due to this is what topping structures typically look like. And, that's exactly what ended up occurring, is that we ended up getting a little bit of a push and a push. And it played out like that, right?
Yeah.
So topping structure, is it behaving like one? Well, based on what we've seen topping structures play out like before, and based on what the expectation of what the topping structure would look like, it does appear to be a top for Bitcoin. So, is there any additional information in there indicating that it's also behaving like a bear market has begun for Bitcoin? And over the course of the last 4 months, Bitcoin has been following this fractal absurdly well. And you can see how it's just absolutely trended down perfectly with it for every single level and pulled back. Almost timing was almost perfect as well. You can see really the only time timing wasn't on point was right in here. But otherwise, you could see every step down was occurring at the same levels to get down in here. And this is not pulled from a bull market. This fractal is pulled from a bear market. So this comes back to 2018, and this is what the type of
Yeah.
fractals we have play
It
out
feels
here
very, it
in
feels
bear
very similar,
markets.
the price action. That's what I've been trying to warn people. Like, look, I'm still right now, as of this moment, I'm still feeling slightly more bullish than bearish, because 33K was an important number for us to stay above, I believe. And so, you know, slightly more, I'm like 55 bullish, 45% bearish, because there's so many things that do feel so similar to 2018. You know, this feels like that relief rally that we got. I guess that would have been in May, I believe it was. We got that relief rally for Bitcoin, and then that was the end. After May, after that relief rally, the price went down, and it basically, like, nobody thought it'd go below 7,000, and then it went below 7. It stayed between 6 and 7 for seemingly forever until the hash wars in November and December, and then it dropped all the way down to 3. So it does feel kind of similar. I'm still hoping for a different outcome, obviously, for the audience, but you know, like you said a second ago, like,
Yeah.
this is part of it. You know, this is what you have to be prepared for both ways.
Yeah, and at the end of all of my videos, Ben, I always say, hey, if you ever need to pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember the blockchain backers got your back. And I'm not going to come onto your channel and scare your audience to death.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it realistically, man. We'll say, hey, this is
Right.
what we see. But, you know, I've got some optimism that we'll peek at here in a minute. But we've got to build the whole case of really, you know, what's going on here. To see, you know, is there any reasonable hope to be optimistic? I think there is optimism to have here in the market. But the thing is, you know, I personally have to accept all of this as being real, that, you know, we're acting like we're in a bear market for Bitcoin, and what happens to the cryptocurrency market from here. So
Yeah.
we'll keep going, but we can see all these things, you know, they're looking like a typical bear market. So
you're
all right.
thinking, you know, if we are in a bear market, that we're looking at after the halving in 2024, you know, to really start moving again.
We'll see. I've got some. And I'm sorry if this is taking too long, but we'll
That's
get.
okay.
I'll get to that. So I'm going right through
No,
it,
it's
and
fine. Like,
then
this
we'll
is
kind
very
of
interesting conversation. I mean, this is more interesting than the rest of the show.
awesome.
So let's do it.
All right. So, all right. So we do see that, you know, we're behaving like this. You know, whether it's broken away, my suspicion has been that it will eventually break away from this thing because
Mhm.
it's been too obvious now. You know, I've been sharing it on my channel, 60,000 views. You would assume market makers are making this happen, right? There's no way the organic market can, by chance, happen to make the timing of these things happen and the levels of these things happen the way they can. You know, we're getting played with, right? That eventually they're going to break free from it if we can all predict it perfectly. And my expectation has been that it will eventually break free, which we might have already. We noticed that we didn't come back in for a double
Yeah.
bottom, but we did reach the end of it. So that's a positive thing to see that we reached the end of it. And so the big question is what comes next for Bitcoin, right? Um, you know, and there's different ways you can say, what do you think is going to come next? Are we talking short term? And like you mentioned, are we mentioning long term? We're talking 2024. Are we talking 6
New
months from
all-time
now? What
highs.
are we talking?
When are we looking at new all-time highs? I think that's
Yeah.
a good general way, I think, to gauge it. I mean, that's what people are interested in, because you got people just a couple months ago that bought the top. So when could they potentially, you know, be in profit again if they didn't buy or sell at all from here on out?
Yeah, we got the viewers in the basement. They're saying, so 100x long or 100x short? Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think, you know, and first of all, again, I'm not an investment advisor. It's
Sure.
not financial advice, but this is speculation and guessing, right? I don't think either one of them could be done. And you know, one thing also is predicting time is nearly impossible. I wish I could do it, and I know we all want to hear, you know, Bitcoin will break 100K in a year, or you know, it's just going to flash crash to 15K, then it'll V bottom out of there, and off to 100K we go next year. And you know, all of that is speculative work, and I will present those cases here within the next 5 minutes, hopefully, on which ones I think will occur. But the scenario that we're in right now is that Bitcoin has had a big, massive fall from the all-time high. What we've noticed throughout bear markets for Bitcoin is that we don't just keep going down in a straight line. Eventually, some type of retracement does come in for Bitcoin. Signs are very optimistic that a local bottom is in. So that's optimistic. But the big question that we're all going to have is, when's the retrace going to come in? So, and what's going to happen at the retrace? If we go back and look at the 2018 bear market when it began, you could see Bitcoin had a massive fall, but it didn't go down to $3,000 in a straight
Right.
line. It had lots of bounces along the way. And that's kind of where we're at right now, is that Bitcoin has had the big massive fall happening here. And it's up for each person to decide, will it just recover and go on and hit a new all-time high, or does this, hitting this 4.236 extension indicate we have to have a full market cycle reset? And if we're going to have a full market cycle reset, how long is it going to take? But the thing that we noticed from back in 2018 is that, we had to retrace back here, and that's where the story was told. So right now for Bitcoin, the big question is, when are we going to have a retrace, and what's going to happen when we get back to it? And I think a lot of, and that's not going to be FUD. That's not going to be anything beyond, this is just how the market has behaved. And we can even see that happening right in here, that once we did this, we ended up crashing, going back to retracement levels, and then turning over on ourselves and heading down further. And that's just normal, typical market behavior, in that a market does retrace, it heads back up to retracement levels. Then all the answers get told once we get back to the retracement levels. Do we get rejected, or do we get to break through them? My best guess is that we're going to get rejected by them. That's just my best guess. It's based on, the things that I see happening in the market, with Bitcoin hitting out to the 4.236 extension on the market cap. The fact that these were the, expectations of, what I was thinking was going to happen with Bitcoin for a long time. My expectation, is that it will get rejected from that price level. So if my broader perspective of Bitcoin is that it's going to get rejected from right in here, well, there's something that's missing from this market. And we can go back and look throughout the history of Bitcoin and the altcoins. So what I have here is on the very top, this is the market cap of Bitcoin. We've got several market caps of altcoins below here. And what we know is that when the top of each of Bitcoin's bull runs came in and into the retracement, like we saw back here in 2018, the altcoin market surged up with it in unison.
Yep.
We know that there's been some individual altcoins that have, been doing their own thing. But we can look here on the right side of the screen. Outside of what took place back in March and April, this altcoin market's been dead. Highly unusual compared to what typically happens at tops of where altcoins take off. Now, we can see there's been this little pop over the course of the last couple of days, but we're not talking like where this whole market's trending up together.
And that's just that's just moving back to like only 40% losses instead of 70% losses.
Right.
Yeah,
man. So, the element that's clearly missing here in the market is the altcoin market taking off. And if we look to what happened in 2018, even after Bitcoin's top came in, a lot of the surging in this market took place into Bitcoin's retracement. So if we look right here at this point in time, it was as Bitcoin went back into this 702 Fibonacci retracement right here, where the altcoin market surged and fired up much higher. So, while this seems really scary, that, and it's hard to say because, if you're in Bitcoin only and you're a Bitcoin maximalist, and I know you're not, Ben, but there may be viewers who are, that's not the greatest news for Bitcoin in particular, that, we're looking at just going back to retracement and turning over. But for the broader cryptocurrency market, the one that has been suffering during this time period right here, that hasn't had an opportunity to take off, if this is the top of the Bitcoin bull run, if we are going to be going back into a 702 Fibonacci retracement or any type of retracement like we saw happen back in 2018, it's the optimistic conditions that you would want for an alt season. Because when Bitcoin topped back in 2018, the market cap of Bitcoin was about $335 billion. That money just flooded into the rest of the altcoin market. You saw stuff skyrocket. You saw XRP go from 20 cents to $3.30, Cardano go from 25 cents to $1.25. You saw, euphoria madness happen with the rotation. And what we know happened with Bitcoin this time is Bitcoin got up to over 1.25 trillion. That's a lot more money to be able to rotate. Ethereum itself got up to 550 billion. That's a 2x Bitcoin from 2018.
I know, that's
Ethereum
crazy.
is 2 Bitcoins from 2018. So if both of these things have topped at the exact same time, and there's going to be some type of rotation play that comes into this market, there's a ton of money to be able to flood it into the altcoin market if it plays out like that. Neither one of them have gone into some type of retracement. So we know that this condition hasn't been met yet to be scared, at least for me personally. My thought process is Bitcoin and Ethereum have both topped. They've both hit their 4.236 extensions. but we know that it was this retracement back here in 2018 for Bitcoin that was so awesome for the altcoin market. And we haven't gotten into that yet. And what we did see, there was a nice little pop here over here on Bitcoin, which indicated that, we're popping out of this whole thing. We saw the altcoin market start to move yesterday.
Yep.
And the thing that, the question is going to be, is it going to be some type of retracement that comes back really quick? My best guess, my best speculation is it's not. My best guess, my best speculation is we see something occur like we saw happen back in 2018, because that's typically what happens in these structures, which we've identified is a typical topping structure, right? You have your first initial fall that ends up happening, and then you rotate back up. That's what we've been doing in here. And there we go. That, it seems more likely that there would be some type of ABC correction that would come in here, like we saw back in 2017. And this is super optimistic for the altcoin market if it plays out the same way. And there's not just the money from Bitcoin in there, there's the money from Ethereum as well. And so I'm real optimistic for that because of this missing element that's happened here in the altcoin market that we typically see, and that Bitcoin and Ethereum have both met these conditions similar to what we saw in 2018. So I'm optimistic for those. Another thing is when we look at the Bitcoin dominance plus the Ethereum dominance combined, we can see a very similar setup has happened in these dominance charts compared to 2017 and 2018, in that the dominance of Bitcoin and Ethereum have fallen unanimously together at the same time, similar to what we saw back in 2017 and 18. It was
but not nearly the lows.
Right here.
Not nearly the lows that we saw then for Bitcoin dominance.
Percentage-wise.
Not yet. Not yet. But you could see the first initial move. I apologize. The first initial move that we've seen right here. You can see this is also where Bitcoin topped and where the altcoin market took over. So this is back in December of 2017 into that retrace that we just talked about for Bitcoin. As the retracement went in, the altcoin market, the remaining altcoin market took over, and Bitcoin and Ethereum's dominance dropped together. And so we can see that in our run up back in March, April, and May, when the dominance was shifting more into the altcoins. You can see the fall in the Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance. You can see us now hanging out at these lows, kind of at that similar moment of where things fell apart last time for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the dominance charts also point towards similar conditions of a retrace coming in, benefiting the altcoin market.
Fascinating stuff. I mean, I feel like this is the best segment we ever had on this show. I learned more during this segment than I've ever learned from anybody on the. I think the one thing I really like is I like overlaying the other charts. I think that's that's really good stuff. And you're right, we didn't get the altcoin season that a lot of us hoped we would get. I do want to ask you, finally, we've ran over a little time here, but
sorry, man.
No, look, like I said, that was incredibly great stuff. I think the audience liked it. We got a lot of good comments, but I enjoyed that. I mean, I was just deadlocked on what you were showing because I think so good. I think there's a chance. Look, I think until we break 29.5, you look right now, and it's still hard to say that we're in a bear market, right? Because we made a higher high in November, and right now, we've made a higher low at 33,000. So there's potential. There's at least potential, from that perspective. If you were to look at the chart in a vacuum without having the historical perspective, I think that there's still a chance. That's why I said I'm leaning slightly more bullish, but I'm emphasizing to people cautiously optimistic, because that's going to, determine whether you get really wrecked or, kind of wrecked or do really well, whatever the case is. But I want to ask you last, when it comes to the altcoins, I mean, XRP, you love XRP. Do you think there's a chance, could you see an altcoin season playing out like this? We get, let's say in March, I'm just picking a random date here. I'm not predicting a date, random date. In March, let's say the case ends. Could you see that the case from the SEC versus Ripple Labs being the propulsion point, I guess, to propel us to a new altcoin season? There will be a lot of excitement, not just for XRP, but when people would say, oh, well, if XRP is not considered a security, then I guess nothing is. I'm a little more confident to come into the market.
Right, man. It's guessing narratives, right? And I wish I had the ability to predict how the market will behave based on news. You know, the one thing that we know is that XRP has never taken off outside of an alt season. If you study all of the charts and you study what has happened with XRP, it's always taken off with the remainder of the altcoin market. So if something like that happened, I would presume it would be good for the whole market. That's just the way I kind of imagine it. Um, and I would hope that it would propel prices. But the really great thing about it, and I know you are short on time, it's unfortunate I can't go a little bit further, but what we
Next
do
time,
see happening in
next
here.
time you can go for that. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
have you back on the show for sure.
Yeah, what we do see though is that for the altcoin market and the remaining of the altcoin market, we've completed a lot of very structural Elliott waves that indicate that it looks good that this altcoin market could take off. And right now, the timing of something like that to occur would be very favorable just for the way that the market is set up. And I'm the type of guy who believes, you know, things happen on the charts, you know, whatever the saying is, you know, show me the news, I'll tell you.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. Whatever,
Yeah.
man. It's really true. You could see when these things show up. But I think it will. And I'm optimistic for XRP because there's never been an end of a bull run where XRP didn't take off.
Right.
And you know, it's always happened. So I hold on to the faith that it's going to. There's just no way to believe otherwise. And Ben, you know, I can't get kicked off this channel yet without thanking you. And I know that, you know, we take it on the chin a lot as content creators. I see things over there on Twitter that you have to deal with. I have to deal with a lot of those exact same things. And you may not get thanked enough for voicing everything that's going on with the XRP case, what's going on with crypto. I watched an episode of you on Altcoin Daily where you mentioned, you know, about eating crow and stepping up, and you know that took a lot to do. You know, for the XRP army, it has felt like, you know, getting attacked by the rest of the world with all this tribalism that goes on, which isn't necessary. But we are so all in this together. That like you just mentioned, you know, what will happen to all the altcoins in this case if Ripple wins or if, you know, XRP loses, right? It's something that is important for everybody. And you know, whether or not we you got to taste a little bit of what we deal with, you know, with trying to predict, you know, when the case is going to end. Man, that's our life, man. It never ends.
Yeah, Gary Gensler watches my channel just to spite me, I think. So. He doesn't like I call him Dirty Gary.
You know, voicing it for the community, I think it's an opportunity we have as content creators to get it out there and to push it and to let people, you know, it's an election year. It's our opportunity to make some type of changes. I know that John Deaton out there has got, you know, connect with Congress, you know, as we can do this together. It's more than just Ripple. It's more than just XRP and the tribalism, guys. You know, Ben, I appreciate you being on our side, man.
Thank you.
I really do. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate those kind words for sure. We're all in this together, you know, and that's what
we are.
So sometimes it feels like one person's on this side, one person's on that side. This is this coin, you know, this community. We're all in this together. We're all in this to create better lives for ourselves, better lives for our families, and a better world. You know, that's what all this comes down to with decentralization and what blockchain is going to allow us to do. So. Blockchain Backer, thank you so much for coming on the show. Been really incredible.
Thank you for having
Definitely
me.
want to get you on again in the future. I had a lot of people saying we would like to get you on around the blockchain. That's our 5 o'clock show. I'd like to have you as a guest there sometime too. But yeah, everybody make sure to go subscribe to his channel. Drop the link, TJ, in the live chat to his channel. And you guys can go subscribe. Let's get him a bunch of followers. And, you know, like I said, definitely want to have you on again. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye.
That was good.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. He's breaking stuff.
I like that
dropping,
jump. Look at what I can do. All right. Got a pulled calf. Guys, we got 9,100 viewers, 2,400 likes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to 4,500 likes today. And if you guys want to see more guests, I want to know who else you want me to have on the channel. So I saw a lot of people saying Daniel from Chart Champions.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have Daniel on. He can't say anything bad about CryptoFace. That's the deal I have to make with him. He just can't talk bad about my boy. If he doesn't talk bad about my boy, he can come on. No problem. We're very, very civil. I mean, he does really well. I'll tell you, Chart Champions, they crush shit in every trading competition. So they definitely know what they're doing. I mean, I can't really disagree with them there. We definitely had some beef with them early last year. But I think that's over. CryptoFace calls them the pencil necks. But, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat, you know, and CryptoFace and
Chart Champions.
Yeah. Chart Champions. They have different, opinions. Chart Champions doesn't like Market Cipher because they say it's not real TA, but I would definitely argue that, TA is just made up of a bunch of indicators that, CryptoFace also uses on Market Cipher. So Market Cipher is a little easier to understand for people. I believe you still have to analyze it. So I'm reading the chats over here. We got John Deaton coming on for sure a little bit later on the 28th. Yeah, I'd love to get Gary V on. So seeing some more Coins Kid. A lot of people saying Coins Kid.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
that's
that.
The guy. I know that guy is.
Just they want the mobile live stream.
They want the mobile live stream.
They
want my mobile live stream.
Maybe
me and my wife will do it together.
BC Backers channel is in the chat, so go ahead and jump in there. And that was pretty good analysis. I kind of like.
I'm like swimming with all that info.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach because it's kind of the combination of a lot of different theories. I like looking at the 27-18 as an extension of the previous cycle.
Yeah.
And not necessarily lumping the 13-14 super cycle together like a lot of people. Basically, what he's done is a completely fresh approach. He's thrown out what a lot of us considered to be standards that we used for a long time, and it's given you given him kind of a different look on it. I think it's interesting. It's almost a combination of lengthening cycles, but he's kind of lumped two of them together and diminishing returns just in a very different way. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to think about for sure. A lot of stuff to think about. A lot of stuff to look at. I hope it's wrong. I mean, for everybody's sake. No, it'd be great if we still did get an altcoin season. The thing that's a little dicey about that is, we got the Bitcoin peak in December of 2017, and then we got the retracement, the relief rally up to, I think it went back up to 14,000. That was in January, right? And that's when, as that relief rally was going up, that's when altcoin season was happening. That's 1 month. Right now we're already, 3 months, right? All of November, all of December, all of January, pretty much. We are 3 months away already, but it doesn't have to follow that exact timeline. It could be reflective of the fact that we didn't get the blow off top. So maybe, it could follow a slower timeline. But it's just all really fascinating to think about. And, you just got to take in as much information as possible. And that's why when people say, that they want me to interview people, like I love bringing people on the channel and getting their perspectives, because all of these perspectives help me build what I think about crypto. It's not just, it's not like I've got all this knowledge just sitting around in my head. Like I watch other people, I read content, I look at Reddit. When I'm brave enough, I'll go check out Twitter, and so you got to have a well-sourced. And we've been talking about how we really have to be more intentional about the way that we're doing research, the way that we're thinking. You guys are going to have to create your own investing philosophy. You're going to have to create your own research strategies, and we're going to be helping you guys to do that, this year. So that's our major focus for this year is going to be, helping you guys grow up in crypto, whether it's a bear market or a bull market, and move to where you're making your own decisions. You're not just saying, oh, this person talked about this coin, so it's going to go up. That's a very low-level way of investing. And then what happens is when you lose, you blame it on that person because you take no responsibility for yourself. So, this is something I believe that is a big missing piece in crypto, period. Crypto YouTube, crypto Twitter, wherever, people are not taking enough time to show you how they get the information and make the decisions. They're showing you what decisions they've made or what their opinions are or the sources. But you gotta learn your own method to doing those kinds of things. So, okay. People saying Lark says he doesn't do. I've reached out to Lark several times. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know you're trying to reach out to me or whatever." He said he's just not doing any interviews at all. Yeah. So, when's the last time you saw him do an interview?
I was gonna say a lot of the guys that have been doing it for a really long time, they just like to do their thing. Yeah. And
that's guy we like Lark.
He's Lark. Great. They said Zombie too, K-Dub. He, great friend of the channel, just similar kind of thing. Just got to live in his life, does what he wants to do. And,
must be nice. Must be nice. I got to show up here like a slave every day to the studio. So, did I get written up this month, TJ? Did you write me up this month for being late?
We haven't done your review yet.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, let's move on here, guys. We're going to, go through this stuff pretty quick. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index at highest rate since November of 2021. So, what happened in November 2021? The top. Bitcoin broke a 21-week downtrend after a newfound bullishness at 48. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is highest in 3 months, making a significant shift in terms of market participants' outlook. Here it is. You guys can see the Fear and Greed Index. This is one of the tools. This is one of the tools that you can use to figure out where Bitcoin, the sentiment is basically. You see right now it's at 48, which means it's neutral. I think we have Richard. People say Richard Hart. I think Richard Hart is on Around the Blockchain this week again, and I'm not here. So
Yeah,
it's 2 times in a row where he's coming on. I'm not here. That's not by design. It's only coincidence. But yeah. So let's see. It hit 45 on December 22nd. Yada yada yada. So this is. I thought I had pulled up the. Did I not pull it up? I thought I had pulled up the. Here it is. Okay. This is a Fear and Greed Index over time. This is the all-time. They started tracking it February 1st, 2018, which, what a time to start tracking it. That was not a great time. And you can see right over here, we made basically a higher high than we made in December. Back on the December 22nd, it was talking about, it hit a score of 45, and now we're at a 48. So that's good. Showing an uptrend, showing some strength. You go back and let's see, you see all throughout January of last year, we were setting new lows. So, I mean, January and February of last year were probably, wait, no, that is a year ago. I mean, this was kind of the peak of the market back here, was December and January, December of 2020 and January of 2021. That's when the greed was the highest for Bitcoin. And that is really fascinating because the prices were not at all-time highs. And it kind of goes to support this narrative a lot of people have been pushing about. We're going to talk more about it, here. This is something I've been thinking about. Is it possible that the retail totally left the market before May of last year? Now, obviously not totally because you guys are here. But is it the case where we've really, even though we had another peak, the sentiment and the overall idea of crypto has been bearish since early last year? A lot of people are making that argument. We're going to be showing you some more stuff to support that. This is from Arcane Research. This is their weekly update. If you guys want to check out Arcane Research, this is, I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them in any way. They send out a weekly newsletter, and, this is something I found to be a really good tool. We don't have an affiliate link for you or anything. If you want to check out Arcane Research, put out this really good report every week. And here's what I thought was really interesting. No noteworthy changes in the futures basis after a week of strength in Bitcoin. Derivatives traders are still on the fence. So funding rates still below neutral levels. So what in the world? We usually don't see this. We usually see, I think the traders are also taking this cautiously optimistic outlook that we've been talking about. If you come down here and you look at, it's here. Nope, that is not right. Where is my chart? Here it is. Okay. This is disbelief. Let me close this. PDFs here do not work great. I do not like them. Can I close this? I cannot close that. Futures basis remains flat as momentum brews for Bitcoin. No noteworthy changes in the futures basis after a week of strength in BTC. We're on time for greed. Are BTC derivatives traders on the fence? 3 to 5 month or the 3-month basis in the offshore venues remains stable, slightly below what we saw last week. Binance trading substantially below FTX. CME's basis has also stabilized at around 3%. The front month contract on CME is currently trading above the offshore market. This is rare and has not happened since October. It could suggest that optimism among institutional investors is brewing. The rising basis could also be growing inflows into the futures-based ETFs. The ITO added 135 March contracts. That's the BitShares ETF. Funding rates also remain negative during this bounce. So what is this telling you? This is telling you that at least according to the actions of traders, people aren't buying into this FOMO yet. And it's something to think about when we looked at that relief rally from 2018 that Blockchain Backer was showing us. It almost seems too coincidental it would follow it exactly. And that's what one thing he said is that he expects it to break out because it's not going to correlate with it the entire time, probably not going to see that. So could this be the time it doesn't correlate? Could this be the time that it breaks out and people are expecting a relief rally and expecting prices to move down? People are taking profits. I know several people have taken profits. We took a couple % last week. Did we take any yesterday?
No,
we haven't taken any profits on this, pump above 40,000 yet. We will take a few percentage points off the board, less than 5% for sure. You do want to take profits, but we don't want to dump the market, everybody, right? We want stuff to continue. If everybody collectively says, let's go sell everything, then the markets will probably go down. You got to factor institutions in there as well, though. I mean, they're going to do what they want to do, and they're the majority of the money. But the retail does have some effect. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But, the traders, the people that trade over the long term tend to be the most accurate because you can't trade long term without knowing how to win. You'll get wrecked in a month and never trade again. So to me, it indicates they're not buying into this rally 100% yet. And that's why we really still need to remain cautiously optimistic. All right, let's move on here. Stablecoin regulation takes center stage at House hearing today. This is going on right now. This is the House Financial Services Committee, after holding a substantive discussion on crypto regulation broadly in December, turning its attention to stablecoins. It will discuss last year's president's working group report on stablecoins with one of the report's authors, homing in on the recommendations and how they might be implementing. Should that be honing in? Doesn't honing make more sense there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Can you use homing or honing in the same context? That sounds,
I guess.
That sounds like that wouldn't work. Why it matters, legislation on crypto assets, yada, yada, yada. I'm looking to see if they mention in here what the president is looking at doing with an executive order. So yeah. I've told you guys for a long time that this is, the hot regulation buzz of the day, stable coins. They want to do away with the staking. They don't want to do away with stable coins. But we do have people here, some New York Fed economists, right? Oh, New York Fed economists. I'm sure we can really trust them. But they're scientists. Stable coins are not the future of payments. Stable coins whose value is either fully backed by safe assets or not. Let's make our own stable coin and just say it's worth $1 billion. Could tie up liquidity in other areas of the traditional financial sector. We've been telling you this is the concern. Tie up liquidity. They don't want you investing in stable coins and staking. They want you buying treasury bonds. That's what this is about. The group is advocating for tokenized deposits hosted on DLT systems that would represent a claim on the depositor's commercial bank instead. Like, they're not even trying to hide it.
No.
They don't even try to hide it. So anyways, it is what it is. If somebody has been watching that, maybe it's a homing missile. Is that right? A honing missile. Anyways.
No, I think it was supposed to be honing.
I
don't know what the sentence was, but the definitions of homing don't make sense for the context.
It means to provide shelter for, correct?
It's a lot of times
like
used
I've done for you here.
Animals that travel a great distance back to their home and stuff and provide shelter. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this brings us to another point here. Will cryptocurrency shatter the monopoly governments have on the creation of money? I was talking with our new researcher here, Johnny. We were talking before we went live. He was helping get some of the stories today. And, we were talking about stablecoins and stablecoin staking. And, he brought up this point, well, I wonder if they'll do stablecoin staking for like FedCoin when it comes out for their own CBDC. That doesn't, I was thinking about the dichotomy of how that would work, and it doesn't make sense. And here's why. Because the government has a monopoly on creating money, right? They're creating stablecoins. If they create a CBDC for themselves, the point of staking is you are pulling money out of the circulating supply. And during that time, when those coins are removed from the supply, it leaves less liquidity across exchanges for that coin. The value, it's kind of like if you have $100 on an island. Let's say there's an island, there's only $100, okay? And you take $10 and you lose it in the ocean, and there's only now $90 left in that on that island, each one of those dollars is now worth, $1.1 instead of just, does that math work out?
Not exactly.
No, it doesn't work out, does it? But regardless, it's basically worth, the 10 that have been removed get factored into the value because there's 100% of value, and money is a way of breaking that down. So if you were to stake CBDCs, you would be removing coins from the supply, but the government's not going to cap that number. They're just going to make more out of thin air. So actually, if you were to stake a CBDC on like a national platform, government platform, you would actually be devaluing your own money because you're removing the money out of the supply, and then they're creating more. And so you're actually adding to the supply. And, it's not a good, it's probably not going to happen. Stablecoin staking is what I believe what they're going after. I believe this is going to be, what is going to come out of this. They're going to cap. I think they're going to cap it. I think they're going to cap businesses in America and American investors from what kind of return they can get offered with a stablecoin. What do you think?
Say that again. They're going to cap.
I think they're going to cap the percent. They're going to cap it at like 2%, maybe 1%. They're going to say Celsius. If you want to have a money, what do they call it? Money transmitter license or whatever that you need probably to run Celsius, you're going to have to cap your stablecoin staking at 1 cent or 1%
for U.S. citizens.
Yeah, but I mean, aren't they an American company?
Celsius?
They're New York. If you're an American company, it doesn't matter. I'm sure they could open an overseas entity.
Yeah,
but
I know it's different for U.S. people than other people, so that's what it would probably look like. I don't think they're based in the U.S. If they are,
I know Alex is from Israel, I believe.
Right.
But
so I don't know how they do their entities, but yeah, I could see the U.S. trying to cap, stablecoin projects for their citizens, but they can't cap it globally. So then it becomes a competition issue.
Can they not though?
I mean, they could just try to strong arm you. They can't literally jurisdiction-wise do that. But I mean, obviously the U.S.
them G8s and G20s.
That's what I'm saying.
On board.
US
it's going to be a domino effect.
U.S. and Europe are the main markets. So if you stifle those, it's all that really matters. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they go out and do that. I mean, it's just basically death sentence for those businesses.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, no, that's not true because the stablecoin staking is only one part. I mean, you still have Bitcoin, Ethereum staking. They're not going to touch that. So it's just going to be specifically for stablecoins. So that you can still get 8 or 9% on some different coins.
Well, then they're really shooting themselves in the foot because at least if you're staking stablecoins, it gives you a reason to hold dollars. Put value in a stablecoin that's backed 1-to-1 to the dollar. If they only let you get returns on Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's nothing incentivizing you to hold dollars.
Yeah, well, they're not concerned about the people that are ballsy enough to stake Bitcoin or Ethereum. The government's not concerned about those people. The government is concerned about the people who think a 10% return over 10 years on a 10-year treasury note is bullish. Like people that don't understand inflation, because the money you get at the end, the 10% is actually worth less than what you put in. But the point is that they're worried about the traditional person, the person with big money, the person that hedges with all kinds of different, government instruments and tools that they have at their disposal. That's who they're concerned about. They don't want the big money flowing into the stablecoin staking because they need those people to buy treasury bonds because it helps, prop the Ponzi up. Yeah. So fascinating. QR Assets launches DeFi ETF on Brazilian stock exchange. The DeFi ETF be one of the first of its kind and follow the Bloomberg DeFi Index, which tracks 11 DeFi protocols. Now, look, ETFs, they are what they are, right? This is in Brazil, so this is not big financial news. I mean, Brazil is a pretty big market in regards to the rest of the world, but obviously a drop in the bucket compared to our, stock exchange here. They already had Bitcoin ETFs. I think they have an Ethereum ETF already. So, pretty, ingenuitive in what they're doing with their financial instruments there. But the point here is, I think it's very interesting the coins that they chose for this ETF, because when it's one of the first of its kind, if you're in on the coins that are in this ETF, you've got to feel good about your decisions. And this is why, you don't see like blip on the radar DeFi Summer 2020 projects on these lists. Now, there were some, YFI, Sushi, they popped up during that time, but you're mostly going to see the coins that have long history here when it comes to this. So it says the DeFi ETF called QDI 11, that's what it is. QDFI 11 would track the Bloomberg DeFi index and make 100% of its investment in real DeFi assets. They track Uniswap. Look, they forgot the I. The DeFi index. Oh, it's like NVIDIA index. Uniswap, Aave. Aave decentralized lending pools is what they say, but it's Aave. They spelled Aave wrong too. That's not how you spell Aave, right? It's not 3 A's. I've never seen it with 3 A's.
I don't think I have either.
That's got to be a typo as well. They got 2 typos in the same sentence. MakerDAO, Compound, Yearn.finance, SushiSwap, ZRX, Synthetics, which I'm shocked at. I was the most bullish in DeFi on Synthetics last year, 2 years ago, leading into last year. And the synthetic stock thing, it seems like it's a target for regulation in the future. So, this one's a little surprising, but it's done well at certain times. And Curve, it would be offered through the Gemini Fund Solution, a platform built specifically for crypto ETFs. I mean, that's got to be the Winklevi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I would think. I mean, they're big into ETFs, so that makes sense. They still have an ETF from 2013 floating out there.
Yeah.
It still has not been approved. So anyways, if you're going to be into DeFi, and we saw DeFi pump pretty good over the last week, the bulk of your portfolio needs to be in the larger, more consistent coins. But I do think having a portfolio based on niches is a good idea. Maybe 2 DeFi, 1 NFT, 1 metaverse, 4 smart contract platforms, Bitcoin, obviously, and then 1 other, maybe risky wild card. That would be like a decent portfolio of 10, I believe, to set up. So, or you don't have to do a risky one. I mean, you could do, put supply chain in there, put VeChain there. Did I miss any? I didn't give any. No, I did say DeFi platforms. I didn't give an example. Did I miss any big niches? Gaming, gaming, NFTs, metaverse, kind of same thing. All right. Ethereum competitor Avalanche surpasses $10 billion in total value locked. Ethereum challenger Avalanche is moving up the blockchain leaderboard. It's billions of dollars in investor capital returned to the smart contract platform. Are you a fan of this shirt?
No.
You don't like it?
I mean,
I think this is my new look. I'm going with this.
I could see you wearing that.
I would wear this shirt.
Yeah.
We're changing styles on the channel. So we're getting rid of the Hawaiian shirts. Rip Hawaii.
They're gonna miss them. They were saying your shirt today was very boring.
Yeah. Well, we're moving more to look. 2022 is a year we're getting more serious. We're getting more serious in this channel. We're getting more serious about you guys making money. You guys finding financial freedom. It's not a game, right? We hope this is the most entertaining show on YouTube. Period. I think it is. I mean, what other show are you going to watch for an hour and 15 minutes out there? Maybe if you're into gaming, maybe there's some gamers. But when it comes to financial news and crypto, like there's definitely no channel that's more entertaining than ours. Say some are more educational, some are, I don't know, better technical analysis, whatever. But we have the most entertaining show. It's going to continue to be that way. But we want you guys to understand that we take this very seriously. We take your financial well-being extremely seriously. And I don't think that's been conveyed enough to you guys. And we are going to really be hammering that home. And I think, like I said, we're growing up this year. Everybody's growing up this year. We're going to take everything to a new level on this channel and in this community. So I'm super excited about it. So, dressing a little more, blasé. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I would have a leather jacket on right now too, but it's so hot in here. New data from analytics firm DeFi Llama. Johnny, can you write down DeFi Llama? Let's remember to add that to our list of resources. It shows that Avalanche has $10.48 billion in total value locked after surging over 18% past 7 days. Told you smart contract platform's the number one pumper over the last week. We showed that yesterday on our Masari report. So it's looking like Avalanche is ready for a strong rally. This comes from crypto trader Smart Contractor. I think a guy that hates me, but hey, good for him on predicting Avalanche. Great job, bud. Avalanche correction risk rises after Avax soars 80% from January lows. Strong network growth underpins Avax's recent price gains. How do you feel? How do you feel that about the effect that the Olympus DAO and Wonderland debacles have had on Avalanche?
I mean, it's
obviously the chain had nothing to do with those.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of comes with the territory, is what I would say. Look at what happened with the DAO hack on Ethereum and how it affected Ethereum going forward. Like they had a major DAO issue early on, and it changed the whole course of the whole project into a big dispute and chain. So it wasn't or a fork. I mean, so it wasn't that bad is what happened to Ethereum, but it definitely killed the momentum.
Yeah.
And it came at a time, obviously, top of the market. It was kind of another domino to fall with the top of the market. So definitely killed a lot of the momentum it had, but still I think Avalanche is a strong project. It's just part of the growing pains for sure.
Yeah, I think, look, when, Ethereum first started having dApps, like the vast majority of them were scams. You had all kinds of gambling dApps that were out. I know with Tron specifically, it was definitely like that. There were, basically rug pull after rug pull after rug pull of gambling dApps on Tron. I was playing one Tron bet that turned into Wink, which is now, I think it's Wink Bet or whatever it is. It's still around. It's still a token. And that one did not scam at all. They actually sold out. They sold Justin Sun, Tron bottom overall. But I think that, it's just something you see with this. Like, look at the DeFi summer, all the scams that were going on all those chains, especially the BSC chain. I'm not saying Wonderland was a scam in the same way that, a rug pull was. We know it's got sketchy people behind it, and we know the experiment definitely didn't work for sure. But I would say that, for me personally, I would say that Wonderland, Olympus DAO, that they have taken a little bit of the shine off of Avalanche. For me, just the way I see it, like I looked at it at that point, and maybe this was just me being naive because, I tend to believe the best in projects and people and things. I tend to believe that Avalanche DeFi is blowing up. This is on Avalanche. It's going to succeed. And it didn't happen. So, it's kind of like when you're watching football. I'll take it back to football like I always like to do. Did you know, by the way, the Jorge Soler ball sold? I thought the auction was through March. It was only $71,000 for that, the greatest piece of Atlanta memorabilia outside of probably the stuff from Hank Aaron 755. But anyways, the point is, in football, you'll be watching a good team, right? Let's say the team's, 8-0. I think the Falcons were 8-0 one year. We were 8-0, and you're thinking, this team is unbeatable. They're invincible. They're so great. You can't imagine them coming out and having a bad game. And then they come out and they have a bad game and they lose. Like to somebody they shouldn't even lose to, Like now they're 8-1. Well, they're still 8-1, but you're not looking at them as perfect anymore. They can still go on to win the Super Bowl. The Falcons didn't that year. They can still go on to win the Super Bowl and be really, really good and do phenomenal things and be a great team, but they're not perfect. And I think that's really kind of the same thing. Olympus DAO is not on Avalanche. Is that true? I thought Olympus DAO was on Avalanche.
I think they're saying it isn't Avalanche.
It isn't. That's what they're saying.
Which is what we...
No, I said it was. I thought it was.
No, they're saying Olympus DAO is not Avalanche.
But Wonderland is.
I don't know if they're saying it's not built on it. They're just saying they're not the same thing, which is what we
isn't
said.
Avalanche.
Like, obviously, Olympus isn't Avalanche. It doesn't reflect the technology of the base layer chain,
yeah, of course.
which is what we stated at the beginning.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just took a little bit of the, my idea of perfection for it. I know it doesn't, look, here's a fact. You have to look at these ecosystems as a whole as well. So Ethereum, for all of the great projects that are on Ethereum, it also allowed for so many scams to come in, right? So when we're looking at the world adopting crypto, you do kind of have to judge these chains on the best projects on them and the worst projects on them. They make up the entirety of the ecosystem. So I do think, even though it's not, like they may be using the tech from there and they may be building on it and the Avalanche team has nothing to do with it, Avalanche has set up the system. And, the way that they've set it up probably didn't play into it failing or succeeding. If it was succeeded, I think it would have played into it. But, just bad economics is what ultimately wrecked it. But just something to think about, something to think about with Avalanche. I do think Avalanche is probably, look, if we have Olympus DAO is on Ethereum, but has gone cross-chain onto Avax.
It started on Ethereum, was porting over, was,
Everything starts on Ethereum, basically.
Right.
So almost everything. Cardano started on Ethereum. Tron started on Ethereum. Tron started with the same white paper even. So anyways, we like Avalanche. We think Avalanche is a big winner. I mean, it's a long-term hold for sure. We think Avalanche is a great coin, but at the same time, just saying it's not perfect. And this is what we're seeing with these platforms. Nothing coming out is going to be perfect. When the stress test is applied, the true colors come out. It's okay. Like, do you guys remember downloading a picture on the internet in 1993? It took forever. Didn't matter how great the website is or how fast their server was or, what person was designing it or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, it was still early internet. And I think that's where we're at in crypto as well. We get too much into believing, I think, that we're further advanced than we are. This is a crazy story. This is called BTC Hotlanta. Now, I do want you guys to know, no one from Atlanta calls Atlanta Hotlanta. But for this story, I think it applies because it is the hot spot for mining. I was blown away to find out what I found out today. I had no idea this was happening. Now, I did know we had some Bitcoin mining operations here. I've talked to some people, at different points, but I had no idea. This chart I'm going to show you is insane. Look at this. This is the Bitcoin mining, heat map, I guess, for states. How much different states are mining? I was shocked to find out Washington, 3.92%. You said you did believe there was a good bit in the Pacific Northwest, but with how crunchy and eco-friendly they are, I thought that, they'd be mining berries or something up there. But certainly, I mean, only if the berries fall off themselves.
Right.
You can't pick the berry. That's mean to the tree. We got Nevada, 0.04%. Wyoming, 0.5%. Nebraska, 5.4%. North Dakota, South Dakota, under 1%. Minnesota, percent. Illinois, basically none. Oklahoma, you also have Oklahoma, Texas, 2.43%, 8.43%. Look at Georgia. 34% of all Bitcoin mining in the United States is being done right here in Georgia. That is insane. I had no idea we were this big in mining. North Carolina's got 5%. Kentucky's the number 2 state. They have very Bitcoin mining friendly laws. We talked about that in a story a few months ago. We got New York at almost 10%. All of that's in upstate New York where they have very cheap power. Plattsburgh, New York, actually a mining hub. They changed the way their citizens get electricity because they were a mining farm was sucking up all the electricity from the city. And they worked out a deal to where they basically gave them a special rate and it didn't affect everybody else's power. So, Plattsburgh is definitely a place. There's a really interesting, I think it's a Vice article or a Vice video about what happened there. So you guys can check that out. But Georgia, 34%. Absolutely phenomenal. Let me X out of this. So America's Bitcoin miners see Georgia as the new U.S. hotspot. At first, I had to reread this a second time because when I saw this on Twitter or something, I thought it meant like the country of Georgia.
Yeah.
That's how clueless I was that we had big mining here. You as well, it sounds like?
Yeah, I knew there was some mining. I knew Jacksonville had a high concentration of, Bitcoiners at least, that were early miners. So I thought like South Georgia, North Florida maybe had some decent mining. But if I were to ask percentage of the United States for mining, I would have put Georgia under 3%, probably under 5%. I would have never thought 30%. So I'm interested, that story you just told about that special deal, if potentially there's a couple major farms here that have something similar worked out in Georgia.
Well, we're going to investigate this. We're going to find out more about this. We're going to reach out
special.
to some of these companies if they want to come see what we're doing. We can come see what they're doing. Cheap power from sustainable sources in a friendly regulatory environment are powerful combinations in attracting miners. So the regulatory environment, that's why there's a lot of tax-friendly laws. That's why there's more movies made here in Georgia than in Hollywood. So we're blowing up in that area as well. CleanSpark Inc. is the Bitcoin miner and also a software company. They bought a big building in College Park, which is just right south of Atlanta. A lot of people consider it Atlanta. That's kind of a city area, which is really strange. I would have thought maybe it would be a little further out. But let's see. This is Clean Spark right here. You guys can see more about them. Somebody knocking on the door?
Sounds like it. Yeah, somebody said when China told their miners to go to Georgia, they got confused between the country and the state.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I can see this be the start of I don't know, maybe like a Bitcoin mining rom-com, you know, where it's like, you know, guy goes up to, you know, the Chinese overlords over there and says, I would like to move my Bitcoin mining operation. And they say, okay, you must move to Georgia. And then he moves to Georgia, you know, and then falls in love with a girl, you know, she mines with him. They have a great time. And then after that, he gets a call from President Xi and says, sir, you have to move to the country of Georgia, not the state of Georgia. It's a good Lifetime movie, actually.
It is.
This follows the Lifetime blueprint. So
I was going to say like Borat mines Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, Borat mines Bitcoin. That would be a funny one, I bet.
Yeah.
So Jim, by the way, sent me a clip last night from South Park from, I guess it's the new episode. And it starts out with a reporter outside that's like, apparently it's no longer cool after only 1 week to make Matt Damon jokes. Crypto, not that bad, or something like that. It was real funny because we said that wouldn't age well for them.
Yeah.
Sleepy rural settlements becoming crypto boom towns and cheap power states. And so they have, CleanSpark also has an area, I think this is the same one. Yeah, they have two facilities. One is in College Park and one is in Norcross, which is right on the northwest side of Atlanta up 85. So, man, this has blown me away today. I'm so curious about this. We're going to try to get, in contact with some of these people, see if we can go tour it or whatever, and see if they want to come on the channel. We don't talk about Bitcoin mining a lot, but, you know, I love my city. I love where I'm from. I love Georgia. And anything we can do to push what's going on here, then I want to do that because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we know where do they talk about the blockchain cities? San Francisco, Miami, Austin,
New York, maybe.
New York is the kind of the financial area, a lot of regulation there. So when it comes to blockchain, but you know what I have noticed about the Atlanta blockchain community specifically? I went to I did a talk there about, Quinn talked there. I actually went. I sat in the audience. I only had probably like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers there. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody had a clue. But they also didn't know who any of the large crypto YouTubers were. I'd be like, oh, do you watch this person? Do you watch this person? It was the Atlanta blockchain meetup. And they're like, no, we don't watch YouTube really. Like they literally, it was all developers. It was all tech people that were in blockchain. Of course, it was like 2019, so everything was real bearish. So, it makes sense. That's who was there. But, Atlanta's definitely a very tech-minded city. And so it does not surprise me, in reality to think that this is going on here because this kind of is the vibe of crypto in the city, like technology, which, I think it'd be cool to recreate that Wojak meme, where it's, the crying face behind the mask that shows the smile, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we could just put a Braves hat on it.
That'd be funny.
If you know the guy that bought the Jorge Soler ball, call me. God, I wanted that thing. I thought it was going to go for like $300,000.
Yeah. Sports memorabilia isn't worth what it used to be, especially probably baseball.
God, but that's the home run ball.
No, I get it. It just doesn't have the same value as that used to today's generation.
I'll tell you, if I knew it was only going for $71,000, I would have bought it for sure. You know how cool that would be to have here? You may not feel the same.
Yeah.
But I felt like that. That's the most iconic piece of Atlanta sports memorabilia.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's get into Q&A.
Let's do some Q&A. First question, what's your opinion on ZRX?
That was my go-to coin, man. ZRX was my XRP back in 2018. The first major prediction I made in crypto was that ZRX was going to be one of the first coins on Coinbase. And it was. It was one of the first coins on Coinbase. After the initial 4, then they put Ethereum Classic on, and then it got listed in the next 4, which was a base contingent token, ZRX, Zcash, I believe. And what was the other one? I can't remember the other. Stellar. I think it was XLM if I remember correctly. So But anyways, so I've always been bullish on on ZRX. I think that that was the coin that I had stolen from me in a phishing hack, very early on this channel. And I was really getting knee deep into crypto and made a mistake with an airdrop. Kind of like we talked about on the show yesterday on Around the Blockchain. And I lost it all. It was like $2,500 worth. I think today, at the peak, it would have been worth like 25,000, something like that. So not it's not like it broke me losing 2,500, but it hurt. Like I felt it for sure. It was my baby. It was my baby bag. You know what I mean? So ZRX is a protocol that allows for DEXs for decentralized, swapping. And it's an Ethereum protocol that allows that to happen. So now we have other DEXs and other protocols, but some still use the ZRX protocol actually to do the swap. So pretty cool.
Tons use the. I mean, if you notice, most Ethereum addresses start with 0x. That's due to the 0x protocol.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting. They all
start with 0x.
Yeah, that's an interesting lesson for you guys in crypto, because you hear us talk about a lot of time that the use of the technology isn't necessarily a direct reflection of the price. Because similarly, I was all in on 0x as well, thinking like, well, hey, everything's going to use this protocol. This is going to be great to hold and own. But we saw the use of the protocol go up dramatically, but not necessarily the price of the token. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. Next question. Did you or are you ever going to wear the Hamburglar costume? We get this a lot.
There was some confusion on ordering it, is what the holdup was. We have it now in the set. I always pay my bets for sure. So we'll definitely be giving that $10,000 to charity. Wendy wants to choose a charity. So I'm going to talk to her about that at the meetup this week in LA and see where she's thinking. And then what we'll probably do is we'll probably announce the charity next time Wendy's on Around the Blockchain. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'll have CryptoFace come on the live stream in the morning stream and show some Market Cipher stuff. He wants to do a big special or big sale, big push on Market Cipher, which we absolutely love Market Cipher. I mean, it's helped us out tremendously. It's pretty much what we use to do TA here on the channel for the most part. And I'll wear the costume. So yeah, I have no problem, wearing a Hamburglar costume. It's not that humiliating. I'm more humiliated that Bitcoin did not hit 100K than the actual, wearing a costume.
I think they were concerned when you were talking about dressing real serious.
Oh, well, you got to pay your bets.
Yeah.
You got to pay your bets. Your word is the only thing that you have. So,
a couple questions here that reflect probably the bearish sentiment right now. People probably that bought top. Somebody, Chris in YouTube, asking, "Do you think Olympus DAO can bounce back?"
It'll be hard.
Yeah,
it is going to be hard. I mean, I think what we've seen from these, and we've been telling you about DAOs. And some people say Olympus DAO isn't technically a real DAO, but that's beside the point. When it comes to DAOs, there's going to be really, really big opportunities, but there's also going to be a lot of it's going to be clunky in the beginning as we start seeing these, come to fruition. I mean, the first major DAO ever was Ethereum, and it involved a hack that almost broke the entire thing. They had to, Ethereum Classic is Ethereum actually because of this DAO hack. So it's an idea that a lot of people have been trying to do for a while. Now, a DAO, when it comes to investing and staking, obviously a little bit different, but I do have to say that, I think at this point, it's going to be really hard because people are going to be scared because the price is on of Wonderland. People are going to be scared the same thing is going to happen to Olympus DAO that happened to Wonderland. So Wonderland's dead. So it's barely breathing. It's got a pulse. We're just counting that percent of our portfolio, which we bought, I think 100K's worth at like near the very top. I think it's worth like, a few thousand right now. I don't know exactly where it's at. I think it's down like 85 or 9%. Maybe that number's wrong. We're just counting that as a loss in our portfolio at this point. And you know what? We can show a loss for taxes. And you know what? If it comes back, it comes back. We threw a flyer on it. That's why you need to only have small percentages of your portfolio in these riskier assets. So especially if it involves staking and stuff. People see staking and they say, oh, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I need to put all of my money into the staking platform. You can't lose. It makes money. But if the value is depreciating, then you're still going to lose money. So that's what we've seen with this. It's a mechanic I've talked about, ever since 2020 that I've seen in yield farming and staking. You got to be careful with. So ultimately, with Olympus DAO, I don't know. We're holding on to hopium at best right now with it. So that's our view on it. Now, when it comes to Cardano is certainly not dead. we're, in a bear trend right now. And, it topped out at $3, which, look, we've been calling for an $8 Cardano for a long time. I thought it could get up to 10 to 12, based on the heat of the market. But $8 is what I was talking about a long time ago, 2 years ago for price predictions. Hit 3, so not 8, but it was also at 5 cents when I made the prediction. So, ultimately, it's going through growing pains right now as well. You're just saying, this is definitely harder than these people make it out to be. It is harder to create new technology, create a chain that works, that has all the elements, the governance, the participation of the network, the staking, smart contracts. It's all very hard. It's not easy. So, all right, guys, that's all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching the show. I know we went a little bit long today, but it was a good show. That's all I got. Smash the likes on your way out. Be blessed. Good boy out.